If I was to say Roto Tom, you'd probably think this. But that's just scratching the surface. Yeah. First drum set of the year. Last year, I introduced 11 different drum sets on the channel, so place your bets on how many kits you'll think I'll open up this year. But seeing as this is the first kit, you know that it has to be a weird one. It is kind of low on the weirdness scale, but the good news is you could go out and buy this kit right now from steveweissmusic.com, the sponsor of this video. If someone told me when I was in high school that I'd have the opportunity to make a video with Steve Weiss, I would not believe that one bit at all. I used to go on their site and buy the most weird and random percussion instruments for no reason at all, and if you're a true, real OG, then you might remember a video I did about a 27-inch China. It was a pretty cringy video, but that China came from Steve Weiss. We'll start with this box because it's on top. At least we get a stand. If you know, you know. One more hint. It's a Roto Tom kit. We got a 6-inch, an 8-inch, and a 10-inch. So what's in the rest of these boxes? Ooh, some Steve Weiss swag. We got all the colors. Let's see what we got in one of these bigger boxes. Probably another stand. Is that a 12? Yep, that's a 12. This is a 14. Yep, 14. So what the heck is in this box? Another stand, another 14, and another 12. You know me and my love for stickers. Oh, yeah. I forgot I asked for some cymbals. Why is there hair on these cymbals? King Gong must have packaged these, I guess. These are two Steve Weiss brand 16-inch crashes. I was telling them about my favorite set of hi-hats, which are also 16 inches, and I was telling them the weights and kind of how they sound, so they actually sent me a pair similar in weight, so we'll have to test these as hi-hats. A little bit gongy. Ooh, yeah, that thing opens right up. We get a hat. I don't know, what do you think? I feel like I can never pull off hats. But this thing, this is a Pearl PHC SNR hip clip snare attachment. I'm pretty sure this is meant to go on a cajon, but I asked for this so I could try to convert one of the Roto Toms into a snare. Look at this. This thing is huge. 18 inches. Please tell me this is another 18 so we can do a double bass kit. Is it? Yep. That's another 18. Is that a 16? I don't even know where my tape measure went. We got a 16. 16, we have two 16s now. This kit is gonna be insane. Quick inventory of what we're working with. We have 7 stands, 3 of the long rails, which you can mount 2 or 3 drums on depending on their size, 4 shorties, and then all of the mounting hardware. If you're not familiar with Roto Toms, you have this piece of T-track and then this little clamp. So the clamp goes on like this, and then the track goes through that, and then just tighten it up, and that thing is solid. Now we can adjust this. Then you have a long carriage bolt with a handle on it. So then we can slide the head of the bolt into the track and tighten up the handle. Then the drum just threads in. And then once the outer frame is down far enough, the inner frame will butt up against the end of the bolt. So as you tighten it, this frame is lowering and the top frame is staying in place, which is pushing up against the head. And that's how you tune the drum. So we have a 6, 8, the sticker, which actually it's a magnet. Don't know how I didn't notice that. 10, 12, another 12, 14, another 14, 16, another 16, and 18, and another 18. So the plan is to use one of the 14s as a snare, and then the 2 18s as a bass drum, and then the rest as regular toms. Let's put one of the 18s on here and see what we're working with. In a perfect world, I would be able to just flip this down and tighten that up. But even with the stand all the way down, that is not gonna work. My next thought was to use a snare stand because that is a lot lower than these. But this tube is the wrong size for this stand, so I can't tighten that up. Plus, I would have to cut this to make it shorter, which I don't want to do in case I want to use it like a regular stand. So I got some thinking to do. So in the meantime, let's mess with the snare. This wing nut presses against this metal plate, which clamps this thing into place, but the only thing is that it's flat, and we need to find a flat thing on here to somehow mount this. The only flat spot I see is the lip of this rim, but it's like barely even catching it, so we'll give that a shot. Well, maybe not. That's as tight as it goes, and that's not gonna work. The only other option I can think of is to go on one of these spokes, which are not flat at all. They're like a triangle shape. That actually worked out really well. Because that inner piece is loose and can wiggle however it wants, it tightens up really nice on that triangle. The only issue now is this wood piece is higher than the snare wire, so if I put this on, this will hit the head before the wires do. But I think that's an easy fix. Flip it over, so now the wood is lower than the snares. That might just work. I mean, it's a good starting point at least. Now the only problem is the stand. This is way too high for a snare stand. Let's go ahead and steal this little tilter piece. Then we can get rid of the basket on the snare stand. Then just hodgepodge these two together. And sometimes you just get lucky. That thing ain't going anywhere. Except we need it to be like this. Still seems pretty solid. And that is how you make a Roto Tom snare and stand. Yo, these hi-hats, these things sound sick, but it's finally time that we tackle the bass drums. There's probably a much more elegant way to do this, but I'm using what I got. And then let's do that one more time. Definitely need to tune those. A couple confessions to make. I did end up cutting the tubes for the bass drum because they were so long and hitting the rails and hitting the drums. And in the end, I could have left them long and then clamped some cymbal arms to them or something. But trying to figure out the setup and getting them set up for the first time was kind of annoying, so I ended up cutting them. Also, for the bass drums, I cut an EMAD ring to make them sound more like bass drums. If you couldn't tell, I suck at double bass. I also had to cut the base of the stand for the 16s as well as the inner tube because they were way too high. I also did cheat because I have another set of Roto Toms that I've never used, so I stole the stand for those to mount the 6-inch way up here so it was out of the way of the hi-hats. The setup is slowly evolving, but one of the bigger issues is with the lower drums. Mainly, these three drums sound really thin because of their heads. They are really thin heads. So I feel like we need to replace all the heads on the kit with pinstripes, the only acceptable head for Roto Toms. I still got double bass, so we got Dave here from a small little band called Municipal Waste. I love that 6-inch.
Hey, glasses.
That's me every time. This kit is beyond fun to play. It is kind of big and takes some getting used to, and you do end up hitting a lot of rims, but still, this kit is insane. But big shout out to Steve Weiss Music. They sell these as a set of 6, 8, and 10, and then a set of 12 and 14, and then individual 16s and individual 18s, which if you know Roto Toms, you know 18s are impossible to find. So drop a comment and let me know your favorite song that uses Roto Toms, because there's only like 2 that I can think of, but there has to be more.